Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Budget Bladesman. Today we're going to be looking at a knife called the Gerber Flatiron. And we're going to add a few more elements into the review today. And I think I told you guys we're going to do something a little different when we do our comparison videos. And this is actually going to be one of the comparison knives I'm going to use. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, I don't have a ton of big knives, and this is one of the bigger ones I have. And with the craze of 2018 and 2019 of the cleaver style blades, which this is, I figured a lot of people have probably seen one of these guys or been able to handle one of them. So with all that being said, let's get into this review. So let's get all the stats out of the way first. First of all, we got an overall length of 8.375 inches. We have a blade length of 3.5 inches. We have a blade thickness of 0.15 inches, so you kind of see that's a little bit of a beefy boy. It's a hollow ground, it's stonewash blade. You can kind of see up there on the blade. It's kind of, tumbled and what have you on the blade. We have an aluminum handled scale, and the other side, this is a frame lock, so you can kind of see there's the lockup right there, and it looks about 50% or so on the lockup. It has a lock bar, and so one of the things about this too is this is actually the second version that they have. They don't advertise it as a second version, but there's a couple differences from the original one that they put out and this version. So the first thing you're going to notice right here is on the blade there. You can see where the logo is. It's right here. In the first version, it's actually on the other side of the thumb hole over here, I should say. So that's one of the things. And this version, which is the second version, actually has a thumb plate, and originally, or a lock plate, I should say. The original one had a lock disc, but for whatever reason with the disc, they were getting some over travel, and it wasn't protecting it as well as it should. So when you pop it open, and you want to close it, it would over travel. Now this one does have, even though it's like that, it does have a little bit of a lock stick. I can't quite flip it open, and I believe if you look in there, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think it's running on washers is what I've read. I haven't been able to come to a firm conclusion, but I believe it is on washers. Alright, so let's fold that bad boy up. And this is kind of a hefty knife. I don't have the exact weight on it, but you can definitely tell, since this is, steel on one side and then aluminum on the other side, a full aluminum blade. And that blade is, what were we looking at here? The blade is 7CR 17 MOV. They do have a D2 version. This version, the 7CR version, goes for about $30 just about everywhere you look. That's with the aluminum scales. They do have G10 scales. The G10 scales go for $5 to $10 more, depending on where you're looking at. They actually also have one that has a D2 blade, and the D2 blade goes for about $50 more or less everywhere you look. So let's walk this guy up. It does have a little bit of a lock stick. I can't really, there we go. Didn't get quite on screen, but it will flick if you can really see, there you go. Pop that open. So if you're good enough and you get broken in enough, you can do the thumb flick. I can't quite do the spidey flick there, but you can kind of see it. It does need some work. I haven't had this a whole long, I think I've had this about 4 or 5 months. I actually picked this guy up for about $25 at Cabela's out in Oregon. So I also want to give a shout out to my cousin Evan, who actually is the one that turned me on to this knife and told me to give this guy a look. Now I will say the pocket clip on this guy is a little bit on the short side. It is pretty stiff. So one of the new things we're going to introduce is we're going to actually do comparisons. So we're going to compare it to our first knife that we did, and we're going to look at the Ka-Bar Dozer compared to this. So the Ka-Bar Dozer is a 3-inch blade, and you can see quite a bit of difference on the blade length there. If we go end to end, it's about I think the Flatiron's a 3.5 inch. You can see there's a bunch of extra. But if you actually put sharpened blade length, it isn't quite as much now, but it's still a little bit. Now, and then you can look at also, you can see the handle thickness. You can see that the Ka-Bar is quite a bit thinner than this. And just overall profile, you can see that the Ka-Bar is quite a bit smaller. And it's definitely a lighter tube. That's the Zytel handles and not the aluminum scales like this one. So let's move this guy out of the way. So this is a cleaver style blade, and it does have that forward finger choil, so you can choke up. There's no jimping on the top there, so you can see it's pretty smooth. So you can still kind of choke up. This is more like I would say, kitchen function, and that's, I think, what the intent is. You know, you're chopping stuff down, you know, vegetables or what have you. It is kind of a cool, different your conversation starter if you're looking at something just to be a little bit different, be unique as far as a everyday carry sort of thing. They're pretty inexpensive, you know, they're reasonably priced, and it's just kind of something that's unique. There are some other people that do cleaver style blades, but this is probably the most inexpensive of those style. Like I said, this is the second version, even though they don't really say it's the second version. This is the second version because of those things I pointed out earlier. So we're going to do one other thing here. We're going to close this bad boy up, and we're going to actually see what it looks like on a pair of shorts here. Just give me 1 second. I know I'm looking at nothing. Here we go. So you can see this is just a regular pair of khaki shorts, and you can see right there how it kind of sits in the pocket just like that. And this is going to be kind of basically, so me personally, I wear a lot of shorts and I wear a lot of khakis at work. I'm going to give a shout out to Slicey Dicey, who kind of does this. If you get a chance to watch his videos, he's great at what he does, but I'm modifying what he does. He does it with jeans. I don't wear jeans at work. I wear khakis, so this kind of fills in for that. So you can kind of see it does stick out quite a fair bit, even though this is a very short pocket clip, and you know, you do have the Gerber logo on that right there as well. I'm going to show you what the inside looks like real quick. And so if you look at the inside of the pocket, you can see it is a pretty big blade, but your hand should be able to get in and out. This is the blade right here, right on this side. You can see there's still a fair amount of room, even though this is a pretty big knife. All right. So we're going to take one more look at this guy real quick. You can see how it looks like, nice and folded up. Again, there is your overstop right there, and your thumb hole. This is a thumb hole deployment. It's a big, stocky, beefy guy, but a pretty good solid knife. Definitely, you know, for those of you guys who go outdoors and do camping outdoors, this would be a good outdoor chopper for that sort of stuff, or even if you guys use it in the kitchen, it'd be great for that sort of thing as well. So thanks for checking this guy out. Next time we'll see you with another view.